Fran-Guru Exchange was born out of desire to inspire listeners to say yes to possibilities before us sailing. Saying yes is a big leap of faith. The best way to encourage you is to hear entrepreneurs tell their stories of how they said yes. In doing so, be moved by their challenges and the many blessings resulting from their yes. Take note that they come from diverse backgrounds and social status. They will prove that they managed their mindsets and broke themselves free from realities they cannot control. These entrepreneurs are not super persons, but they're like you. If they can, you also can. We are connected and related with entrepreneurs for over 30 years with our business, GMB Franchise Developers. This reservoir of experience are filled with living testimonies of business starters who have made a name not just for themselves, but of brands that have triumphed over the test of time. You can if you believe you can. This is Fran-Guru Exchange.
Hi.
Yan. Hello, hello, hello. This is the second part natin ng Business Trends for 2022. Magandang gabi, good evening, good afternoon, and wherever you are, this is again the tandem, the husband and wife, Fran-Guru Exchange. Linda, so what is in store for the viewers? They're excited, and I'm excited too.
Hi. This is exciting kasi parang this is part 2 of business trends. Yung first the first part of the business trend series last January 10 talked about the present trend, and it is something that is it is the fiber that goes through all the happenings for 2022 business happenings. It's really getting into digital, social media, digital. That is where that business trend is going and will be for years to come. So I think for entrepreneurs, for business owners, it's time to look back and see what is it that my business can do to be able to capitalize on this trend. What chatbots can I use? What apps can I use? How will I be present in Instagram, in Facebook? This is the summary of what we had during the first session. And as well as we also discussed if these are brick and mortar stores or physical stores, what is it that can be done? So we also realized that you will still have physical stores, but the physical stores have been redesigned to be able to face the present challenges of if COVID will always be with us. So you have the McDonald's putting in so many lanes now for takeout, so many lanes now for pickup, lanes also for curbside. Not only McDonald's, KFC is doing it, Burger King is doing it, as well as many other mature and huge businesses, franchise businesses, are adapting, are pivoting their physical stores. So now, this session 2 is really a continuation of what is it that we will expect in terms of trends. So we can start with the first slide.
Okay, so the first slide is again let's talk about the business trends, no, the part 2.
So now, part of the trend that's going to happen and we will see in 2022 is still expansion of home cooking, which is basically because we're calling this now home economy. Home economy meaning the shift now is on spending online, which we've all done. I'm sure all of us have done this, from the children to the seniors. All of us have done shopping online. We use digital products, as well as we are spending more on what can we do at home, how can we cook at home, what entertainment do we have for the home. So because basically we're still looking at a situation where families are going to be holed up in their homes. And so what are the things that can be done? I know that there are now travel apps that just that actually address people who are at home. They still want to travel, they still want to see scenic spots, they still want to travel to different countries, not physically but maybe vicariously. So you, if you are in this business, what is it that you can do to be able to meet this trend? Next slide, please. Go, Boots.
So yeah, the loosening of restrictions, open up the work in offices and malls, and shopping in malls. But a lot of people are still comfortable now that work from home, simply because of absence. The traffic. You're trying to avoid traffic. You're trying to avoid the stress. But with this kind of digitalization that we have now, entrepreneurs now have a choice. No, uh, what is really essential is really to be reporting the office, or really some of the people are reporting from work from home, right,
Yeah,
Linda?
correct. And even from, from our own experience here in the office, it's like it was unthinkable for us to be able to do franchise development without meeting the clients, without, di
Right.
ba? Di ba, Boots, going to the stores, etc., etc. But these past 2 years, we realized that we can do franchise development through Zoom meetings. We can still do our work with entrepreneurs by just, you know, doing digital engagements with clients. And we've had clients that are now even awarding franchises or franchise. We have opening of franchise branches without physically going to the location. So everything is done digitally. Was this thinkable before pandemic? No, it was not thinkable. But this pandemic has actually challenged the imagination of people in businesses to be able to look at to see the reality and see what can be done about this. So it is now possible to do a lot of things, a lot of work by the use of digital channels. Or yeah, just make sure we have internet connection. And so far our internet connection is getting better and better, correct, Boots?
Correct, correct. So no more. Well, there are some areas, but again, progress is a sign where internet providers are
Yeah,
in healthy
yeah,
competition,
yes,
offering the best of the best deals to consumers and
yes,
entrepreneurs. No.
yes. Okay, next slide, please. So now we have increased popularity of private labels. Okay, for before pandemic came about, parang if you're just starting a business and your brand is not known to the market, parang you hesitate. Why? Because you have established brands that are already in the market. So you're telling yourself, kaya ko ba? Can I handle this? Considering if I market my product, I need to spend X amount for print media, I have to spend X amount for television or for radio ads. But because of this pandemic, what has happened is that even you now have an increase patronage and popularity of private labels, which means these are labels that are new to the market, that are coming into the market. One very good example is Plain and Simple. You remember Plain and Simple Boots, correct?
Yes, yes, plain and simple.
It's a very new brand that's owned by millennials. And because of the use of social media, they're able to drum up their sales, and their production is like no stop because of the use of social media. So it's, you're not just talking of H&M, you're not just talking of Uniqlo. Now you're talking of private and starting brands like Plain and Simple, that is already um getting a chunk of the market because its exposure is because of social media, because of social media channels that they're using. And the presence of Lazada and Lazada, Shopee, Amazon, Amazon.com, Amazon Prime, eBay, and all have exposed customers to other brands, because you remember, when you're looking at an online store, you're not just looking at a Burberry, or you're not just looking at an H&M, or it's it's in tandem. You have branded brands, and you also have private labels. So now customers have to choose. And because you see the big difference in price, what has happened is that customers started to try private labels. And
That's
this
right.
is now the growing market, correct? Boots?
Right, right, right. So really, the competition is actually on the level, on the playing field, level.
Yeah,
You're not
as
talking
you
only of
always say.
expensive brands, right? But if
As
I'm
you always say.
starting, yeah, if I'm starting like private, plain and simple, who started what 2, 3 years ago, and they're very in a good competition with the branded labels, no? So because of the digitalization that we're having, the online shopping.
And this is, as you always say, Boots, this is really, you are labeling, you level the playing field. Now the playing field is on the same ground. Everyone is on the same ground. Whether you're branded, whether you are a Bulgari or an Hermes, you you're using the same platform to sell to customers. And
That's right.
customers see you. They see an Hermes, and they see a private label. And more often than not, if you are a customer that's kind of sensitive to the price, you will really try. So it says nga, this is the realization that private labels also satisfy the same need, more than, same as branded and expensive brands. So this is really, you level the playing field. Next slide, please. So now we were talking about the millennials that really, that where private labels really appeal to. And this is from the statistics that was gotten. In UK, you have 40% of grocery sales now private labels. And the US is expected to have 25%. Can you imagine? So now the market is moving from established branded labels to starting and private labels. Now the global economy, from the statistics also that was derived, in global economy, you have private labels now outpace branded products by 3 times, meaning sales of private labels now is 3 times more than the branded products. That also gives hope to people who are starting a business, because the playing field is like on the same level now. Then you have more hope to compete in the market. Okay,
That's right.
next.
That's right. So competition is the word. I mean, go become. You start a business, have a label, and it's become socially entrenched. So that people will remember you. So it's really the name of the game is become digitalized. That's I think
Yes.
that's the word, right?
Yeah, correct. Next slide, please. This slide just shows us that 40% of customers have tried new products or new brands during the pandemic. So that's a big hope for people that really are starting their business. So you have to say yes to starting a business now, when when the environment is the same playing field, level playing field. So you have 40% of consumers now that have tried new brands and new labels. Next slide, please. What are
Oh,
the
the expectations,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Go,
So
go.
you have to remember, you may be on a same playing field, but at the end of it, the consumers are the one judging us on your what goods you can deliver. Like for example, you see a lot of entrepreneurs now offering free shipping, free delivery, because a lot of consumers expect that. If I can go to your shop before, why not have it free delivery or free shipping? And then that's one of the competitive expectations that now entrepreneurs are faced with, right? Yeah,
Yes,
Linda.
yes, correct. But actually, what is happening also is, yeah, you have consumers' expectations, they want free shipping. But because the marketing now or the purchase of products are done online, it works as always, like life, it's always a two-edged sword. One edge is that you can actually market your products digitally, more customers see you digitally. But we also have to remember that because it's digital, any negative feedback or, yeah, any negative comments is easily seen by people also. So if you just have one or two customers talking about a bad product or a bad delivery or a bad shipping, or very long shipping time, people get to know this. You remember years, I mean, prior the pandemic, when you go to stores, they give you feedback, correct? They give you a feedback form. But if you have 10 people that are given feedback form, maybe one or two of them will fill it up, correct?
Correct, correct.
But now, because of it's very easy for them to type on their computers or on their phones to give their feedback. So this is something that business owners have to be very, very conscious about. Correct. You will be seen in the digital channels, but it's also there is more responsibility to take care of the product and the way customers will receive the products and the quality of the products, because the feedback is very easy to give, and a lot of people see your feedback,
Yeah,
see the feedback of your
oh, okay.
product, correct?
Yeah, remember, Linda, the first impression is a lasting impression. So you break that first impression, forget it. I mean, but again, you'll have a tsunami of unexpected, customers who say, I don't want to try it because somebody did a bad review. But some people do try, because some people who say, oh, probably that's just one in a million. But again, what is really important here is that we must deliver right from the expectation, from what the digital is, up to the delivery of the product itself to the customer, because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
even, there are customers who even judge you the way it's packed up, the way, the packaging, the way it reaches them. You may have a very good product, but once it reaches the customer, and it's so, what do you call it, the packaging is so so badly packaged, they'll take a photo of it and they'll even post it, right?
And we have to remember, I remember this very well. I was browsing through Shopee, and then uh, our eldest grandson came to me and said, Lola, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking at some products in Shopee. You know what he said? Immediately he said, did you look at the product reviews? I said, huh? What do you mean by there, Lola? There's product reviews. I said, why? I will not buy anything without product reviews. I said, what? So he said, this is how you do it, Lola. You have to look at product review. So I had a small talk about how to do online shopping and consider product reviews, because now a lot of customers really go to product reviews. correct? So we
Correct.
have to
Yes.
be very, very careful about the quality of the products that we deliver. Okay?
Yep.
Next slide, please.
Oh, this is something people really want. Same day delivery or even faster. In fact, when you do deliver unexpectedly beyond before the date that they expect, they get
Oh,
so
they'll be
impressed.
surprised.
They are
They'll be very
surprised.
surprised. They will
Yeah,
always say, "I this is a better business, this is a better product kasi it came to me faster than expected." That's why for business owners, I think what we need to do also is do not overpromise, underpromise. Do not overpromise, underpromise. Tell them you'll get your product in 3 days. Your goal is actually for the products to reach them in maybe 2 days time, which is
that's the
actually
yeah.
better.
But the reason there also, Linda, is that the entrepreneur must also gauge the shipper. The
Yes.
reputation of the shipper, because sometimes the shipper might be good, but they get so overloaded with a lot of deliveries. The tendency is they go slow, and it will
Yeah.
boomerang not on the shipper but on the entrepreneur, the seller.
Yeah,
So
correct.
this sometimes, we always tell a lot of entrepreneurs that, you may have a good product, but if the one delivering is slow, you better change. You better find ways how you can solve this. Because, like, especially for food, people are so like weekends. How many times you get so frustrated that you are expecting it at 11:30 or lunchtime, and you call up and they say it's on the way, but it's really not on the way because it bungled up on the shipping or the one delivering, no?
That's correct. That's correct. You don't want to have lunch at 1 o'clock, and of course you're going to be upset. Next slide, please. Then of course we have the ethical. Ito is a new trend, ha. Ethical values based brands on the rise. Meaning there was a time when everybody was talking about corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility. Now it's moving from corporate social responsibility to ethical and values. Brands that follow ethical and have strict values. Let's look at an example. Next slide, please. This is Everlane Garments. Everlane Garments is one example of this company because it has very stringent quality standards, not only in terms of clothes themselves, but also how workers are treated. So people now do not just look at products, they also look at what is the position of this company in terms of does the uh what about its track record on discrimination of employees? What about its track record on nagpapasweldo ba? Does it give minimum wage? Minimum wage to people. So these are the things that the market now look for in brands in addition to the quality. It's not just quality, they also look at what kind of business is that. Next slide, please. We'll have more of Everlane. You have now rise of sustainable shopping where product. They also ask now, where do the products come from? What are they made of? What is the environmental impact of the products after they are consumed? Next slide, please. So this is one company that has that does a lot of programs to raise awareness of environmental and social justice issues. They use US FDA certified fair trade ingredients. And not only that, they are also very vocal about how much employees earn, what their executives earn. That's part of their company value system.
In
So
fact, I think what basically these entrepreneurs are now doing is focusing on the internal customers who are their workers, so that the external customers or the consumers know what is happening to the internal customers, no? So really, how they take care of the internal customers is what is so important, no?
Yes. Let's look at the next slide because this is something that's also interesting. The next interesting example is conscious coffee. This is conscious coffee. This is transparency, values, and ethics have never been so important. Transparency, next slide, please. Conscious Coffee has very strong commitment to ethical production process. Everybody's talking about fair trade commerce. How much do workers earn? Where are these workers? The very first the company I could remember even prior to all this pandemic was Body Shop. Remember Anita Roddick, who was who was I think the first company that did that always talked not yeah that always talked about my products do not undergo experimentation on animals. That is
Yes,
what.
yes.
So that's Body Shop. If you notice, even prior to the pandemic, Starbucks was already talking about where its coffee comes from. You notice if you go to a Starbucks coffee shop, you have bags of coffee. It talks to you about where the coffee comes from. They talk about fair trade. They talk about fair trade commerce or fair trade practices that they do. Now, Conscious Coffee also has livelihood programs that empowers people in El Salvador because they get most of their coffee from El Salvador. Where they get their coffee, they also get involved in livelihood programs. So because before, when a company does CSR, the CSR is done in the area where the company has its head office. This is different. The CSR or the programs of companies are done in the places where the ingredients come from or like where the coffee comes from. Conscious Coffee gets its coffee from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico and Nicaragua. So that's where their livelihood programs are conducted. So these are now new trends that are coming about, and you have especially the millennials who read a lot and who are very conscious about the ethical values of companies.
That's right.
Next
That's
slide.
right. So they'd rather patronize something that somebody who is also caring for others, not the community.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now we have the next slide, please. Now these are now the last trend that we'll discuss is really successful retailers become experiential. Experiential because you want to bring the experience to the phone or you want to bring the experience to a laptop. That is the challenge. The challenge is how do you bring the experience in the physical store to mobile gadgets. So now we have some examples of companies that have done experiential, but the underlying reason for this is that in the global survey of Deloitte, there were two tactics that stood out: timely offers or getting the best offers in front of customers when they need it. I need a shoes. I want the shoes now. That's how the market now moves. That's how the market now thinks. I want something and I want it now. Because they're on their cell phones, they are on their gadgets, they're looking around for things. They want to satisfy their need at the soonest possible time. You remember the other term that we discussed was fast delivery, going the products, reaching the customers at the earliest possible time.
Right.
Next slide. We'll have a sample of how Adidas does this. See? It's a very simple, it's an app of Adidas, bring it to me, meaning before you even go to the store, you use their app, you tell them what you like, you tell them your size, and then when you get to the store, the shoes is going to be given to you.
Right,
So
right,
it's a store. It's like wow. You don't have to go around the store because, well, one thing, you don't like to expose yourself so much, and some people still want to go to the store. So the the purchase process starts with the online and may end with the store. But ending in the store makes the visit short. The store is there. I mean, the shoe is already there because you already told them what you want. Let's go to the next, which is Apple. This is another example of an
Product that Apple produces.
experiential.
So if you think of it, the hardware, which is the architecture of the store, the software is what happens in the store and how we basically turn on Apple Music and the App Store. We call the software Today at Apple.
Welcome to Today at Apple.
歡迎大家 Today at Apple。
Bem-vindo ao Today at Apple.
Welcome to Today at Apple。
All 495 Apple stores around the world have a bunch of new classes offering everything from photo walks to coding.
And there's a more dimensional take on the genius. New staffers specialized in music and photography called creative pros.
We'll be doing some quick figurative sketches.
The shadows can make it really pop.
So our whole concept was, how does the store become more like a town square where the best of Apple comes together, everybody's invited, and it becomes almost a community hub.
What we're going to do is just going to invite you up to share some poems.
When you do something for the first time, you have to be completely fearless.
Can anybody find the Big Dipper?
Whatever sound feels good to you, let that be your sound.
I'd love to be able to say, did you learn something? Were you inspired? Did we enrich your life? Did you connect with other people in the community that maybe you didn't know before?
Today at Apple, it's really experiential. It is Apple is really, just going to an Apple store, it's like you get a different kind of experience, and notice all the different programs that they implement to be able to bring this really to the experiential level of the customer. So the byword is really experiential. This is the trend is really, how do you pivot your business in such a way that you will be able to let your customers experience your service or you experience your products digitally, maybe through the store, physical store. So that ends our business trends for this session. Very, very challenging, but I think a lot of business owners will be able to pivot their business and look at the trends and see what can we do. Let us
that's
say
right,
yes to
right.
all this, correct?
Yeah. And really, our takeaway is that we'd like to say life happens, adapt, embrace, change, and make the most of everything that come your way. And that's coming from a quote from Nick Jonas, and this is how life is. We cannot always resist. We cannot fight it, but we just have to adapt. We have to embrace. We have to change. You cannot say, I'm too old for it, or I want to maintain the past. Live in the present, learn from the past, and see what the future will hold for you. I think that's one thing that we want to share with a lot of entrepreneurs for this time, especially in 2022, right, Linda?
Yeah. Really, sometimes it's difficult for me to get through this, but we have to get through this push to digital is something that is kind of a little difficult to accept, especially when you're senior, but those are realities. That's how life is. You have to change. You have to. mm, a year ago, I would always say, I don't like technology, I don't like technology, I don't like technology, but there's nothing we can do. We have to make the most out of everything that comes our way. So with that, we would like to thank you for listening, and we hope you will get some lessons from the trends. It is kind of difficult, challenging, and you will always say, yeah, Apple yan eh. Apple is already a huge company. We're not saying we have to follow Apple. We're not saying we have to follow Adidas. But we're trying to say is look at the trend and see what you can do in your own small way to be able to get into this digital presence.
That's right. That's right. So, well, we finally gave you the two parts of the business trends for 2022. If you want to have a replay for that, you can watch it in YouTube at Business Franchise Guru channel or CBRC.tv YouTube channel. Again, so that let's wrap it up, and hopefully we were able to provide you with some lessons, things that can move you, and things that can inspire you.
Oh, the next on January 24, we will still talk about trends, but now we are going to talk about franchise trends.
That's right.
Franchise Mike. Franchise. If you are a franchisor, or if you are a franchisee, or you're interested in franchising, what are the trends that you will expect as far as franchising is concerned in this 2022 and beyond? Thank you
Good.
very much.
Okay, so that is Fran Guru for January 17. And thank you for watching. Thank you to CBRC.tv. Thank you to the production people, Algie, Ryan, Lyndon, Anna. And again, my parting words is take care, be safe, and always pray because God is everywhere and always listening. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Fran-Guru Exchange. Watch out for more episodes as we bring to you a lot of exciting information. Only here at Fran-Guru Exchange. And thank you to CBRC.TV.